Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this Wednesday. We head up to Baraboo today for an unusual story.
That's right. It's a story that you're really going to love. It involves the Circus World Museum and a benefactor who got a big surprise that she was not expecting.
Involving elephants.
Very sweet, yeah.
All right, we'll get to that coming up in this next hour. But first, here's what's making news this Wednesday. Reality star Kim Kardashian West visited the White House to commute the prison sentence for a drug offender. Today, the president granted her wish.
There has been a lot of finger pointing and back and forth after a developer sued the city of Madison over the Judge Doyle Square project. Our Rose Schmidt is here to sort it all out.
And Bucky is back. One of the specialty statues was vandalized last month. He's returned to his summer home at James Madison Park.
And a beautiful day for it, too. Let's take a look outside today. It was another gorgeous day. Still haven't had to turn the AC
the storms went through this morning.
Yeah,
that was
rain.
quite a shock. But yeah, I've had the AC on.
Oh, you do?
Not today, but I've had it on.
I haven't had it on for a while. It's kind of nice.
Spotty rain chances, the weather words. And Gary Canalti is with us today in the backyard. The sun's shining right now.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those weather patterns where you'll have chances for showers and thunderstorms just about every day, and yet most of the time it won't be raining. But when it rains, it could rain hard for short periods of time, just like it did this morning. Let's start out by taking a look at visible cloud track. There was a cluster of thunderstorms that produced severe weather in Minnesota last night. It held together and pushed through southern Wisconsin. Watch as it hit Lake Michigan. Poof! The clouds just started to break up, and a second little batch of showers rolled through the Madison area this afternoon, and even that has cleared out. And now you're seeing some thunderstorms developing across parts of Iowa where a severe thunderstorm watch has been issued. But that batch of storms will head to the southeast and should stay to the west of us. There's just an outside chance that an isolated shower or thunderstorm could pop up at some point tonight or tomorrow. Better chances for rain will be tomorrow night. Low temperatures this morning started out right around 50 degrees. Notice it was quite a bit warmer to the west. Temperatures were closer to 60 near the Mississippi River and only in the 40s to upper 30s near Lake Michigan. So the atmosphere much more stable there. That's why those showers and storms weakened as they pushed eastward toward Milwaukee, but held together as they pushed into southwestern Wisconsin. Current temperatures range from near 80 at 78 right now in Boscobel, 76 in Lone Rock, 77 in Mineral Point, to 71 in Madison now that we have some sunshine. And areas to the east that haven't seen the sunshine or are just starting to get it are in the 60s. And as we check out our first alert forecast, you'll see those temperatures dropping off into the middle to lower 60s by early tomorrow morning. Just a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm overnight. Then tomorrow, look for partly sunny skies. High temperatures will top out close to 80, and just again a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm during the day tomorrow. As we take a look at first alert traffic, things not too bad right now on the Beltline. We're seeing some minor delays, at least in the westbound direction. This is the live view from the DOT traffic camera on East Washington Avenue at 2nd Street. And traffic is a little heavy on East Washington Avenue. Seeing some slowdowns in both directions between the Capitol and out toward, say, Stoughton Road. Also, again, some slowdowns on the Beltline just to the west of Verona Road over toward Mineral Point Road and Gammon Road. To the south and east, traffic running pretty good on I-3990. No accidents reported there, but notice the speeds down closer to 60 miles an hour. The speed limit actually 55 miles an hour there. No problems on I-94 heading out of town. And then to the north, the interstates are in pretty good shape as well. That is your first alert traffic.
All right, Gary, thank you. We'll check back in a few minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Gary. First at 4, President Trump is setting free a drug offender serving a life sentence for a first-time offense.
The decision for Alice Marie Johnson comes just days after a high-profile celebrity visited the Oval Office on her behalf. Mo Olengi has the latest from the White House.
President Trump ended the life sentence of nonviolent drug offender Alice Marie Johnson. A White House statement said, in part, while this administration will always be very tough on crime, it believes that those who have paid their debt to society and worked hard to better themselves while in prison deserve a second chance. The 63-year-old great-grandmother served more than 20 years for a first-time nonviolent offense. Last week, reality TV star Kim Kardashian visited the Oval Office to lobby for her release. After the decision, Kardashian wrote on Twitter, "Best news ever." Johnson's commutation is the 6th clemency act the president has issued since taking office, and the second granted after a celebrity asked for his help.
One of the greatest fighters ever.
The president issued a posthumous pardon to boxing legend Jack Johnson after an appeal from actor Sylvester Stallone. He also recently pardoned conservative filmmaker Dinesh D'Souza. The president said the government treated both men unfairly. Mr. Trump is also believed to be considering a pardon for Apprentice alum Martha Stewart, who was convicted of lying to investigators about a stock trade. There's no word yet on when Johnson will be released. Mo Lulengi, CBS News, the White House.
And Johnson was convicted in 1996 on 8 criminal counts related to a Memphis cocaine trafficking operation. The indictment describes dozens of drug transactions, many involving Johnson.
House Speaker Paul Ryan says President Trump shouldn't pardon himself. At a news conference this morning, Ryan was asked about the president's tweets on Monday suggesting that he had the right to erase any convictions in the special counsel's probe of his campaign's ties to Russia.
I don't know the technical answer to that question, but I think obviously the answer is he shouldn't, and no one is above the law.
Ryan is also breaking with President Trump, agreeing with others who say there is no evidence that the FBI planted a spy in President Trump's 2016 campaign. Trump has insisted the agency planted a spy to help Hillary Clinton win.
The Iowa County Sheriff's Office is investigating the death of a 13-year-old girl. She was found in the town of Mineral Point, and the Sheriff's Office said her death is considered suspicious. The release from the Sheriff's Office added that there are no indications that the death involves child sex trafficking, although they did not indicate why that was included in the release, and there is not a threat to the public. Unity Point Health Meritor is facing new allegations following the latest federal investigation into the hospital. The violations include not installing battery-powered lights in a procedure room and failing to have a remote stop for a generator, which, according to the report, can lead to severe injury or death for patients on life support. This is the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services' third investigation into Meritor this year. An initial investigation was prompted by reports of patient abuse inside the hospital's NICU. A spokesperson with Meritor tells News 3 they have resolved all of the violations and are waiting on official approval. Well, Madison city leaders tell us they are puzzled and surprised by a lawsuit filed against the city this week.
A Chicago-based real estate company is suing the city over the Judge Doyle Square project in downtown Madison. Rose Schmidt is here to explain the controversy. Rose.
I've heard the words disappointed, puzzled. There's just a lot to this controversy. There's actually 3 levels to the Judge Doyle Square project. The controversy is about the middle part. In a lawsuit, the development company Beitler Real Estate alleges the city violated their agreement by deciding to build a structural slab known as the podium. It has 2 floors of parking above the planned parking garage, the current giant hole in the ground. Previously, Beitler was in charge of building the podium, but last month, Madison Common Council unanimously approved spending $11 million to have the city build it. They approved the money on the advice of city staff. City Attorney Michael May tells News 3 that Beitler officials said it would be too expensive for them to build the structure, but they wanted the extra parking. At that point, the city decided to find the money to build the podium and plan to lease or sell the parking spaces to Beitler. After approving the money, the city planned to renegotiate the development agreement to include the changes regarding who would build the podium, but that could be on hold while this lawsuit happens. May tells me he believes the city's defense is strong. We reached out to Beitler's attorneys but have not heard back. And meanwhile, the mayor's office and council members referred our questions back to that city attorney.
So is it on hold for now, or are they going to still go ahead?
Well, he basically told me that they were going to renegotiate it now, but now that the lawsuit's happening, he doesn't really know what's going to happen.
Interesting developments.
A lot of back and forth, though.
All right, Rose, thank you.
Thank you, Rose. The volcano explosion 3 days ago in Guatemala has now killed 75 people. Authorities cautiously resumed search and rescue operations today in towns and villages devastated by the eruption of Guatemala's volcano of fire, with time quickly running out to find any survivors. At least 192 people are missing, and the death toll is expected to rise.
The Wisconsin Broadcasters Association is reconsidering its decision to limit participation to 4 candidates in a live statewide debate for the Democratic gubernatorial candidates. There are 10 official candidates. That decision drew criticism from just about everybody, even Republican incumbent Scott Walker. This afternoon, the WBA tweeted that it has heard the concerns and is, quote, considering its options. Well, votes are still being counted in California's closely watched primary races. 8 states held primaries yesterday, but California is the biggest focus for Democrats who are looking to flip 7 GOP House seats in the fall. Chris Martinez has more from Los Angeles.
Voters cast ballots in 8 states Tuesday, selecting their candidates in crowded contests across the country, but none so closely watched as those in California. Democrats need to flip 23 seats nationwide in order to gain control of the House of Representatives. They're focusing on 7 California districts, where the first hurdle was to ensure a Democrat finished as one of the top 2 in each race to make it to the November ballot. They appear to have been successful in at least 5 of them, according to the Associated Press.
We put a businessman in the White House. Let's put a businessman in the governor's mansion, huh? Yes.
Republicans are relieved they'll have a candidate in California's gubernatorial race. President Trump tweeted, "Great night for Republicans. So much for the big blue wave. It may be a big red wave." President Trump also tweeted his congratulations to incumbent Republican Congressman Dana Rohrabacher, who will advance in California's 48th district. Mallory Hagan won the Democratic Party nomination in Alabama's 3rd congressional district. She'll face longtime GOP incumbent Mike Rogers in the fall.
I think that we can do this in November. We can.
And Montana Republican Matt Rosendale emerged victorious in a 4-way GOP Senate primary. He made it clear he's running as a Trump Republican.
We need to send President Trump some conservative reinforcements.
Rosendale faces Democratic Senator John Tester in the fall. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And the ballots in California will continue to trickle in through Friday. As long as the ballot was postmarked by Election Day, it can arrive up to 3 days later and still be counted. Well, after falling victim to vandals, Sunburst Bucky is back on dry land.
The terrace-themed statue was toppled by an act of vandalism back on May 10th, but today the statue was back on its feet at James Madison Park. Eric Frunke has more from the newsroom. Eric?
Susan and Mark, it is one of the 85 statues of Bucky in Dane County, and now probably the most well-known Bucky statue, number 60, Sunburst Bucky. Now they've resituated it a bit farther from the water since it was found face down in the waters of Lake Mendota, attacked by vandals, as you said, on May 10th. After they got him out of the water, they had to do some repairs to the fiberglass, and then artist Jenny Hayden came over to repaint the statue, spending 8 hours on it in a warehouse at Madison College on May 16th. She says she did make some minor changes after getting over the initial shock of learning her project had been struck by vandals.
When I first heard about it, my heart sank, but then I grabbed my paint and was basically ready to come back and get them back going. So, you know, I kind of thought of it like, I'm going to teach them how to Bucky. This is how you Bucky. This is getting it right back up there.
No, it took Hayden, who is from the Milwaukee suburb of Shorewood, a month to originally paint Bucky, and part of the proceeds from this Bucky on Parade Public Art Project benefit Badger basketball coach Greg Gard's charity Guarding Against Cancer. Still no word on who was responsible as police continue to look into that May 10th vandalism. Those responsible would be facing a tentative charge of criminal damage to property. Mark and Susan?
That's how you Bucky.
That is how you Bucky. Get him right back on his feet.
Yeah, that's right. Eric, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Eric. There's more at 4. When we come back, we're dining at the Madison Club in our monthly Tastemaker segment.
It's an exclusive menu in an exclusive venue. Madison Magazine's Andrea Bailing joins us when Live at 4 continues. Protesters in New York are sending a message that they want EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt out.
And his recent hire in the Environmental Protection Agency is fueling the fire. Pruitt picked Stephen Cook to chair a new Superfund task force to oversee cleanup of toxic areas known as Superfund sites. Cook spent 20+ years as a lawyer for one of the biggest chemical and plastics companies, part of the industry responsible for creating many of the toxic sites that he is now in charge of cleaning up.
If I were a governor or a mayor, I'd be really concerned that the game of politics is being played instead of cleaning up these sites and making communities safe.
The Associated Press found nearly half of the political appointees recently hired at the Environmental Protection Agency have industry ties. In a statement, the EPA says Stephen's experience gives him firsthand knowledge on how to target environmental cleanups.
Stocks rallied on Wall Street, helped by the financial sector. The Dow Industrials added 346 points, closing the day at 25,146. The NASDAQ Composite Index added 51. The S&P 500 was up 23. One of the most elegant and exclusive places to dine in Madison is the Madison Club.
Executive Chef Andrew Strubing oversees all of the culinary operations at the Madison Club, which hosts weddings, lunches, dinners, and meetings for members and guests. Madison Magazine Managing Editor Andrea Bailing checks it out for this month's Tastemaker segment.
We are here at the Madison Club with Executive Chef Adam Strubing. Thank you so much for having us today.
Thanks for coming.
First, what do we have on the table here?
All right, so I got 2 dishes here. I'm really into Latin cuisine, and so I did a taco here. So it's a sweet potato and bone marrow tortilla. Ooh. And then it's got country fried beef cheek, satsuma orange salsa, some crispy pig ears, and charred avocado.
Oh my goodness, that's a lot going on there.
Yeah, and there's some feta cheese.
Oh, wow.
And then, yeah, there's a lot going on, but it all kind of comes together.
Yeah, and what's this dish here?
And then here we have Fox Heritage Farms rack of lamb, pistachio, guajillo butter, some crumbled pistachios. There's our ramp mole sauce.
Ramp mole sauce?
Yep, some sauteed chanterelles and some black garlic.
So who are some of your influences in cooking?
So growing up at a very young age, I started cooking with my grandfather, who was from Sicily.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's funny because a lot of times everybody like thinks I'm Italian or something, but I'm not at all.
No.
Yeah, it was but anyways, I grew up, cooking octopus at a young age with him, and just cooking things like 7, 8-year-old kids normally don't eat or cook. And
not an octopus for sure.
Yeah, he got me into it, and I don't know.
Yeah. So Madison Club is membership based, is that right?
Yes.
Can you tell me how much is a membership?
Sure. It's always $50 a month if you're under 40 for young professionals.
Okay.
Which is a nice deal. And then right now this year, through the end of this year, we're running a centennial special because it's our 100 years that we've been in this location.
Oh.
And for anyone, it'll be $100 a month.
Wow.
And it's $50 goes to spending in the restaurant, and then the other $50 is just for dues. So it's $100 total, and then, yeah.
And dessert. This looks gorgeous. What is this?
So this is our citrus trio. So it's a lemon tart, key lime cheesecake, and a blood orange sherbet.
Oh my goodness.
And then it's got a bunch of different citrus garnishes. But yeah, we make all these in-house. My pastry team is very talented.
Wow, that's one that I would not want to share if that came to the table. Delicious. Well, thank you so much for having us today. It's so good to meet you.
You as well. Thanks for coming.
And Andy's here now. Works of art. It's just, it's almost too pretty to eat.
Yeah, it is. And he's really done some cool things with their menu there. He's been there for a while. He was the last hire when Dan Fox was the head chef at Madison Club. He was Dan Fox's last hire.
Before Dan went to Heritage Tavern?
Dan went to Heritage, yeah. And then Adam actually worked under another chef after that, but now he's the head chef.
And he's a Wisconsin native?
He is, yeah. Went to culinary school in Milwaukee. And
grew up in Grafton, right?
Grew up in Grafton, yep. And just the nicest guy. And he's got a lot of connections in the Madison Madison food scene too, so he does a lot of different things with chef takeovers and things like that.
But you have to join the Madison Club. There's a monthly fee, as he said.
Yes,
so.
there's a membership fee that people should check out, but it is their 100th anniversary that the Madison Club is celebrating at their current location, so there's a deal with that right now.
It's an elegant place, and the view's spectacular.
And a beautiful view,
Just find somebody who's a member, and they can take it.
Yeah, there you go.
They just redid their downstairs bar and their atrium. They'd have this new glass atrium roof, so it's going to be great. They have their ribbon cutting next week on Wednesday.
Oh, that's exciting.
So that'll be cool too.
All right, well, Andy, thank you.
Yeah,
good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
You can read more about Andy's review in this month's issue of Madison Magazine.
There's more to come at 4 as the school year comes to a close. We profile one teacher really making a difference.
Charlotte Deleste has the story of a special teacher making a difference for some special students. That's coming up after Gary's forecast. Well, take a look at this. It's a high-speed chase involving a tank. The driver of the stolen military vehicle led police on a 2-hour chase through Virginia. The armored vehicle was stolen from Fort Pickett, a National Guard base in Blackstone. A line of police cruisers pursued the boxy vehicle while a police chopper followed overhead. The carrier is only capable of speeds of about 40 miles an hour and wasn't equipped with any weaponry. The chase ended with the driver's arrest in downtown Richmond. No damage nor injuries reported. See that?
Thank goodness.
Going down the road.
Ooh.
Wow. It is Wednesday, June 6th.
It is the 74th anniversary of D-Day. More than 160,000 Allied troops landed along a 50-mile stretch of heavily fortified French coastline to fight the Nazis on the beaches of Normandy. And I'll tell you, that was probably the most important weather forecast because the meteorologists gave the final go or no go on that. Originally, it was scheduled for the 5th, and the worst storm to hit the English Channel in 25 years postponed it for a day. If they would have had to postpone it again, they would have had to wait 3 weeks until the moon and tides were right, and you could lose the element of surprise.
And they didn't have satellite.
Europe is under Nazi control. They're not sharing their weather information. A couple of ship reports and some weather observations over the British Isles, and that's it. Your call.
It's fascinating.
Change the war.
Yeah.
Change the war.
It is also Global Running Day today.
And it's National Drive-In Movie Day. Richard Hollinshead Jr. of Camden, New Jersey, created the Drive-In Theater. His opened on this date in 1933. The screen was 40 by 50 feet. There was 400 car slots. The first movie ever shown at a drive-in was Wife Beware. In their heyday in the late 50s, there were 4,000 of them across the country. Around here, Jefferson, Monroe, and Richland Centers all still have drive-in theaters.
Last movie I saw, last time I went to a drive-in movie, it was Airplane, Grease, and Grease 2 for $1.
No, that's a good lineup for a drive-in.
And one of the things that led to their demise was the extension of daylight savings time.
Yeah, isn't that
they couldn't start movies until 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, but I mean, you still had the the playgrounds open. I mean, for the kids and everything.
We used to go all the time. They had one.
Good old days.
They had one in Little Chutes.
Did they?
Yep. A few left.
Well,
so check them out. A good night for a drive-in.
Yeah. Rain chances, I think, pretty low for tonight and tomorrow. A little better chance tomorrow night, but you can see the skies clearing out. I'll have our first alert forecast in a few minutes. Well, we started out the day with some sunshine, then the clouds came in, we had some showers and thunderstorms, and then we cleared back out again. You can see a couple of little areas of showers and storms moving through, followed by clearing. So it's one of those days where you know, the rain lasts for a little while, and then all of a sudden, boom, it just kind of clears out again, and you see a pretty nice day. Now, as far as rainfall is concerned, about a half inch, a little less than a half inch in most of the areas in green. Over far southwestern Wisconsin, little or no rain, but there were a couple of spots that picked up between a half inch and an inch of rain, mainly right around Dane County, just on the western portion of Madison, and then up toward the Dells here. This is where one of the heavier little thunderstorm cells rolled on through, but you can see on Doppler track right now, the last of the showers clearing on out. It's possible an isolated shower or thunderstorm could pop up at some point this evening. That's been happening out to the west across Iowa. There's a severe thunderstorm watch there until 10 p.m., but these storms are moving toward the south and east. There's actually a weak cold front that's kind of drifting across the area, and eventually will shift our winds around to a more northerly direction, but it'll be close enough to us that I think there's still at least an outside chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Severe weather outlook has been scaled back. Slight risk across much of Iowa. The marginal risk right up about to the Mississippi River. Tomorrow, a marginal risk to our south and to our west, and pretty much the same area for Friday. Can't rule out the threat for showers and thunderstorms, but our best chances will be tomorrow night into Friday morning. That will be when the atmosphere is a little bit more stable, so the severe weather threat a little bit minimal here. As we look at temperatures over the next week, expect them to be at or slightly above normal. 79 tomorrow, 77 with the best thunderstorm chance on Friday morning, and then back into the low 80s as we head into the weekend. And if we look at the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook, though, it's now calling for below normal temperatures over the northern part of the Midwest as the jet stream is expected to settle southward a little bit. That keeps the heat down to our south and west, or warmer than normal temperatures over the northern portion of New England. As far as precipitation chances, above normal precipitation, but the chances of that happening just a little bit less than 1 in 3 chance. As we take a look at the time lapse from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam earlier this morning, red sky, sailor take warning. That's when the clouds and the showers came in. Most of them missed the Platteville area. They stayed to the north and east, and then we had some clearing and then some clouds, and then the sun started to come back up. Here's the live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam, and you can see plenty of sunshine on the water tower there. As we check out the live view from the WISC Skycam, plenty of sunshine here too. The skies have cleared out, just a few cirrus clouds overhead, and the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison, a little more cloud cover off to the west. But as we check out the almanac for today, you'll see our high temperature has only made it up to 71 so far. We may go up a few more degrees before we start falling down. 49 the overnight low temperature, and right now we're at 71, which is our high for the day. Winds out of the south-southwest at 7, but those winds will shift around to a northerly direction later on tonight. Temperatures range from 57, where northerly winds have already kicked in off of Lake Superior into Marquette, Michigan, to 92 in Des Moines, Iowa. So that's a pretty big temperature contrast, and you can see the winds out of the south and southwest here, but notice how they shift to a northerly direction, or at least a northwesterly direction over the northwestern portion of the state. As that wind shift takes place tomorrow, they'll keep temperatures in the 70s. We'll have a little more sunshine. One batch of showers and storms fizzled as it pushed into Lake Michigan. The next batch moved through the Madison area and then headed out toward the east. You can see the jet stream pushing to the north. That means that temperatures will continue to climb, especially to our west, but out in the Pacific Ocean, the jet stream's starting to settle a little more south. So that means with time, our weather will start turning cooler. Probably not for a little while yet, maybe another 10 days before we start to see that overall change really start to take effect. Here's that cold front I was talking about, not much more than a wind shift line right now. Temperatures do drop off a bit behind it. The change is a little more dramatic out to the west, where temperatures are in the mid-90s ahead of the front and upper 70s behind the front, but that's still pretty comfortable. Dew point temperatures do drop off a little bit north of the front as the air is a little bit drier there, but the air is pretty humid from about Des Moines, Iowa to the south and west, and that's where the highest threat for thunderstorms will be. 60 for the overnight low temperature tonight. Skies will become partly cloudy, just an outside chance of a shower or thunderstorm, and maybe even a little patchy fog overnight. Tomorrow's high temperature, 79 degrees. We'll probably have more sunshine than we did for the day today, but there is still a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm. On future track, you can see pretty quiet conditions overnight, an outside threat of a shower or thunderstorm, but notice the wind shifting to the north by tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, the winds out of the east, keeping high temperatures upper 70s here, maybe some 80s out to the west. And then for tomorrow night, the better chances for showers and storms arrive late tomorrow night into Friday morning. Friday, we'll see high temperatures probably in the middle 70s. As we take a look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, you'll notice the temperatures will be right around 80 degrees into the early part of next week. There'll be some chances for thunderstorms, and most of the time it won't be raining. So keep the umbrella handy, but you won't need it all the time. Maybe some thunderstorm chances and a little warmer weather toward the end of next week, perhaps highs in the middle 80s by Friday.
Very summery.
Yeah, but, you know, not big temperature swings, which is nice.
Yeah, but you always expect a little rain, you know. When
and you
the
need
rain
it this
comes,
time of year, yeah.
It comes down hard, yeah.
It does.
It did this morning.
For about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Gary. And now we continue our gavel-to-gavel coverage of the world's largest gavel. The massive piece is outside the Clark County Courthouse in Marshall, Illinois. It's 66 feet high, 70 feet long, and 36 feet wide. The whole thing's made out of red oak. The giant gavel was built to honor the long legal history of the Clark County Courthouse, which is one of the places where President Abraham Lincoln practiced law.
That's pretty cool. Now it'll be a tourist attraction.
Very cool indeed. Yep. Well, there's more for Charlotte Deleste is up next with this month's top-notch teacher.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Live look at Langdon Street. No classes going on campus right now, so kind of quiet downtown. Good time to visit.
Yes, that's true.
As the school year comes to a close, there are some students who've needed some extra care and attention throughout the year just to get to the end successfully.
There is a special teacher who has had the backs of many of those students, and Charlotte Deleste is here with this top-notch teacher. Hello.
Hello. Truthfully, there simply is not enough time for me to express how impressed I am by Nicholas Schmidt at Memorial High School here in Madison. He's helping students who are really struggling, not only with school, but with life. And he's giving them a space that's safe and making sure they know he cares.
So let's take a look through. If there was one thing I was never going to do, it was going to be a teacher.
But yet, here's Nicholas Schmidt at Memorial High School teaching.
I never saw myself working in a job like this and loving it so much.
Mr. Nick, as his students call him, is a credit recovery teacher.
I work with kids who are essentially, a lot of them are throwaways, and there's no way for them to graduate. There's no way for them to get their credit, and then they come in here and they work and they grind it out and they get it done.
But he's so much more than what you see here.
I'm teacher, guide, mentor, guidance counselor, social worker, sometimes step into the role of parent.
He's also a builder. He builds relationships with his students, making sure they know he's got their back.
My first name is Nicholas, and it means victory of the people, is what it means, and that's how I've always been. I've been about taking people who are disenfranchised and giving them an equal shot at things.
He's considered a career change. After all, he wears many other hats. He cuts hair at school and fixes cell phones for students he knows can't afford it.
I just decided for myself, like, I can't walk away from this. I want people who feel like they don't belong anywhere else to have a place where they belong. And not just where they belong, but where they can actually strive and they can succeed.
And the impact he's having on his students is simply undeniable.
Honestly, before Mr. Nick, I hadn't really had a teacher that made me believe in myself, that I could do it. And it was so refreshing to be in an environment with somebody who was in your corner.
Without him, I wouldn't be much. I'd just be a kid failing, and I don't like thinking about that, but knowing that that was my past and where I am now is such a great leap, and it's all because of him.
Nicholas Schmidt never imagined himself being a teacher, but because he is, kids are able to imagine a better life.
Just someone who's trying to live my life and change lives, as much as I can along the way.
Have a good day, everybody.
Wow. Nick, thank you for doing what you do.
Yeah,
there are angels among us.
They really, truly are.
Teaching wasn't necessarily his only path.
No, he said he switched his major 4 or 5 times because he was avoiding that, because he thought, well, he felt in high school he didn't have a place that he felt that he belonged, but then when he went to college, he found he was helping kids like the kids that he's helping now, so he thought, maybe there's something here to it, but I'm still going to avoid this, and eventually, it comes and bites you.
Yeah. Well, look at how emotional those kids are.
They love him. He
Volumes.
really is so impressive. So, just thank you, Nick. And if any of you know of a top-notch teacher, especially during the summer, please nominate them at channel3000.com.
It's a rough time of the year for you this summer months.
It can be. It can be. We get creative, really creative.
But Nick, congratulations to him.
And I love learning what the name Nick means. That was cool, too.
Yeah.
Thanks, Charlotte.
Thank you, Charlotte.
When we come back, it's not every day you see 3 elephants visiting a nursing home. There's a joke here somewhere.
That is exactly what happened in Baraboo. We'll get the story about these elephants in the room when Live at 4 continues.
Time for a first alert traffic update. Live view from the Beltline over Umrock Road. Pretty slow traffic eastbound and westbound. Not a whole heck of a lot better. If we take a look at the traffic right now, you can see a lot of red showing up. We've got some delays eastbound starting around Fish Hatchery Road going back to at least Park Street, and then eastbound the delays start around West Broadway and go back off and on to Verona Road or even a little bit west of there. As we take a look at travel times right now, 23 minutes on your commute from University Avenue to the interstate, 20 minutes going back in the westbound direction. If you're heading out of Madison, expect a time of 28 minutes from the Beltline to Janesville on I-3990. It's 19 minutes out to Sauk City on Highway 12, and also 19 minutes out to Sun Prairie on Highway 151. That's your first alert traffic.
All right, Gary, thank you. The generosity of a Baraboo resident is being celebrated this week.
95-year-old Lucille Henry is a lover of the circus, and especially the elephants that are an integral part of circus life for many years. We were there when Miss Henry, as she is fondly called, got the surprise of her life. The community of Baraboo has had a 134-year relationship with the circus, and there are reminders of that all over the city. It was the hometown of the Ringling Brothers Circus and is now the home of the Circus World Museum, a living history museum featuring a big top and daily performances. This year marks the 60th anniversary of Circus World, and as part of that commemoration, the museum is working with the city of Baraboo on a special public arts project.
Our Baraboo Public Arts Commission recently commissioned an homage to our circus heritage, which is a family of 3 elephants that are on parade in Merrim Park here in Baraboo.
The first statue of the baby elephant was dedicated last summer, and they started looking for funding for the 9-foot mother elephant statue. That's where Lucille Henry enters the picture.
This morning we thought that we would surprise Mrs. Henry with a surprise as only we could at Circus World. A humble thanks and gratitude for her generously supporting this public art project.
Lucille lives at Oak Park Place, and to orchestrate the surprise, the residents gathered outside on the pretense that they were going to have a special ceremony to name 2 new bronze giraffe statues at their home. Lucille was sitting prominently in the front, surrounded by her Oak Park Place family, and since she found it difficult to go to the circus came to her.
So this is the Circus World elephants here especially for you, Lisa, Becky, and Tracy. And I bet they would love some treats. Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple bananas. Gonna give you a couple of those, and we're gonna wheel you up. Is that okay?
Okay.
One more there at the end.
Becky, no, Becky, let Tracy have it. Yep.
Lots of bananas.
Back up, please. She's gonna get a little bit of boogers.
Yeah, you got a little bit of elephant boogers on your pants, but that'll come out. There we go. Nicely done. So that's how big the statue is going to be.
You know that's going to be a beautiful elephant walk.
It is going to be beautiful.
Yes, you betcha.
I agree.
Oh.
I agree.
I'm so happy.
The Baraboo Art Association is using Lucille's $12,000 donation to commission an Iowa metal artist to create the mother elephant statue. It should be finished by August, and they plan to name the figure Lucy in honor of Lucille Henry.
Oh, this is such a thrill, and watching them come up, and I get so close to them to feed them.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, Lucille, I love the reaction on her face when she first saw the elephant.
She just lit up.
It's so priceless.
Yeah, what a wonderful
And
honor.
how generous of her, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see the finished product.
I agree. I agree.
All right, we'll be right back with the final check, your forecast. Not a bad evening.
No, I think the shower and thunderstorm chances are pretty low right now. 71 right now in Madison. A little warmer out to the west where there's been some sunshine for the last few hours. East of Madison, and the sun is just starting to come out, and temperatures may go up a little bit. But you can see most of the showers moving on out. Otherwise, look for temperatures to gradually drop into the lower to middle 60s. Just a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm overnight. Tomorrow, partly sunny. High temperature around 79, and maybe another round of thunderstorms late tomorrow night into Friday morning.
It's just one of those situations they pop up, and you can't tell when and where.
Most of the time, it won't be raining, though.
All right. Thank you, Gary.
You're welcome.
Tomorrow here on Live at 4, Emmy Fink fills us in on what's happening in the 608 this weekend.
And we go behind the wheel with Harvey Briggs in the perfect summer car. You two look pretty sharp in that thing.
There we go. Yeah, we got our shades on.
The Mazda MX-5 Miata, two-seat convertible fun. That's coming up tomorrow on Live at 4.